Welcome back to GBGuns. Today we have the Ruger American Compact in 9mm. Comes in this decent black case, a little better than the cardboard box. I suppose you could lock it by wrapping a cable around the handle. Otherwise, pretty good presentation. Before we get to the gun stuff, just want to show you the wealth of information that comes with it. We have our warning that stainless steel can rust. Whole pile of stuff inside. Decent manual. Printed in the same black, white, and red that we see everywhere. A recall and safety update for Ruger Blackhawks. And everything, a sticker, thing about Ruger knives, big old thank you and a 20% off at Shopping Ruger. And for their other stuff, really trying to build that lifestyle of being a Ruger shooter. Also in the case, we have our different back straps that have these interesting blocks that remind you to remove the block before installing it on the grip. That's a good one. And replace it afterwards. A tool, which I'll touch on later. The full-size 16-round magazine. A flush floor plate for the compact magazine, and a sleeve, which I will promptly install on this 16. Finally, to the gun. I see Ruger has jumped on the bandwagon of including rubber bands. Don't know who's using those or why they've become popular. Alright, first we'll show clear, empty magazine, and the chamber is empty. So right off the bat, no cocking serrations up front for doing those press checks. That's kind of a bummer. Looking at our slide to frame fit. A little bit of wiggle room, not a ton. Barrel seems secure. A little bit of wiggle room for the barrel too. We do have a rail for mounting accessories. Smooth front trigger guard. Controls are easily within reach. This model does have a safety. Nice swell for the grip here. A little bit of texturing on the front. Big finger rest, which I appreciate, so I can fit my hands on it. And if you don't like that, there is the flush floor plate that comes with it. Going on the back side of the gun, oddly enough, this is where the serial number is. At the gun shop, funny story, had some challenges finding that. Looking in all the traditional places. Got some diamonds on the back here. Our sights are metal. They've made them snag free for inserting into a holster but not removing. They kind of got that backwards. So this would be a challenge, or at least you'd have to use alternate methods for doing a single-handed rack. But another big plus for this one is all three controls, slide release, magazine release, and the safety are on both sides. So left-handers rejoice. Speaking of magazine release, ejection is decent. See how it is with the full-size magazine. Seems better with that magazine for some reason. There is quite a bit of play, and the sleeve, see the gap there? Sleeve doesn't fit perfectly. I would have expected a little more from the factory. Aftermarket grips do that, but I mean, come on, Ruger. Alright, we do have a loaded chamber indicator, the hole. Like I always say, that's better than nothing, but I prefer something that's tactile and doesn't require light to see in there. So once again, verifying that we're clear. See what the trigger's like. We've got the safety doohickey in the middle. Comes back, this is all slack to a wall. And breaks. A little bit of squish, but not terrible. Reset. Moderate reset. A little more squish. And it breaks again. So far, not bad. especially for the price. These can be found as low as $400 and offer, so far, quite a bit more than the competition, especially with the 3 interchangeable back straps. Now, something of note with the back straps, you get a Torx wrench, because that's what's required to change it. That I'm not a big fan of. It'd be nice if it's something that could just be flicked off or pulled off. I mean, I guess there are people who'd prefer it be overly secure, but a little annoying that you need a special tool to change. Now on to disassembly. Lock the slide back after removing the magazine. Bring this lever down until it stops. Pull back. And it's relocked itself. Let's give that another try. Lock the slide back. Turn the lever down. It stops. Pull back on the slide. There we go. Slide came off. Did not have to pull the trigger. Some people are big fans of that. So we've got some lengthy rails. That's grease on there. Overall, looks rather complex inside, but considering that the controls are on both sides, of course there's going to be a lot going on in there. This has a bit of heft to it. That is one thing I noticed right away, is this weighs a bit more than I recall most other guns of similar size weighing. 12+1 rounds, it's a bit hefty. That should make it comfortable to shoot. As far as comfort for carry, we'll see. Captured spring. Color-coded. My assumption would be that that's so you can change it out in the future. Looking at our barrel, plenty of thickness, not really much of a bevel there. Kind of disappointing that so much finish is already worn off just out of the box, but that happens in time with use. Ramp has a wee bit of shine to it. Let's take our match bullet, and decent support, no less than most of the common guns. Looking at our slide, don't see really any tool marks, in fact none at all. Looks very clean, fairly simple, straightforward. Nearly forgot. Let's take a look at those different back straps and see how they fit. Since this is the compact version, I'll be doing the test fit with the 12-round magazine, assuming that's why we got the compact in the first place. So, with the one that came on it, controls are within reach, and just about correct trigger finger placement for me. I can still control it. Not bad. We'll swap this out. I'm assuming this is the large and this is the medium. It's supposed to just take a quarter turn. If I can get it in there. To unlock. I'll have to do some having gotten it off. They slide down instead of back like I'm accustomed to on other makes. Slides up there rather nicely. This one feels slimmer, appears slimmer to me. We'll get our magazine back in for the correct feel. Definitely slimmer. You can see my thumb is making it much farther forward, and my trigger finger can reach the front of the trigger guard. It's possible for me to stick the trigger all the way into the joint of my finger. That is definitely a smaller size. Let's see how the other one does. Now that we figured this out, pulling down removes it. My guess is that these blocks exist simply to prevent these from being crushed, although they feel rather sturdy. That is a large curve there. Magazine back in. See how much shorter my thumb is. Trigger finger. This one's actually feels pretty good to me. Rather large. My hand is still too close to the magazine to eject freely. I have large hands, but this is definitely bigger. So these three size differences are very noticeable. This is not no question about any changes happening. I do wish they were labeled though. And I guess there's even little arrows there describing the direction. Interesting setup. So that's the Ruger American Compact out of the box. We'll get it reassembled and out to the range for some shooting and give you our impressions there. Do you have one of these? Do you know someone who does? What's your opinion? What are their opinions? I'm interested to hear. I gotta admit, when I saw this come out at SHOT last year, the full size that is, I picked it up and wasn't tremendously impressed at the time. However, I was looking for different features than I do now. Currently looking at this, it seems like it's got some potential. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching GBGuns. And if you watch this far, you appreciate our format and what we're doing, or maybe you're waiting to make that really angry comment. Either way, click the big griffin up here to subscribe. The link over here to show you a related video based on what you just watched, or down here is the playlist relevant to this video. Once again, we appreciate your feedback, your comments. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll see you in the next video.